Hi there, my name's Tom, and today we're going to be going over how to modify a Morakniv Compainion or a Morakniv Compainion HD so that it becomes a more appropriate camping knife. This is continuing on with the things you should keep in an emergency bag that, is packed with things you might need for during or post hurricane, flooding, earthquake, basically emergencies that actually happen to people. You should have a go bag if you're in an area that's prone to a natural disaster. And even if you're not, it's not it's not crazy to have, just a basic emergency bag with, just some basic things to help you get through the next couple of days until the National Guard or the Coast Guard shows up to help you. So, why does this need modification? Well, when these are brandy new, they have a very beveled, rounded spine, which means it cannot strike a fire steel. It can't create a spark to give you a campfire. Now, it's not the hardest steel. However, to initially start, I do believe in power tools. So you put your safety glasses on. I've already done this part. But you put the safety glasses on, and you come all the way back up and down the spine until that bevel is gone. And when you're done with that, it's going to look like hell, actually. So, what happens next? Well, you'll need at least one cut-resistant glove. Now, I mean a glove that's actually designed to stop slicey, sharp edges. Not just your basic leather gardening gloves or your mechanic's gloves. Number two, you'll need, pardon my hand, a coarse stone, and you will need some water. Now, as you start this process, I want to remind you that you just put a round surface on this knife and you can't take it all the way to the back. So, if you start grinding up here at your handle, you're going to have a gap because the stone will be touching here and it'll be touching here, but everything in the middle won't grind. So you have to start away from the handle and work your way towards the handle to get an even grind. So I put my safety glove on. This is a ceramic stone, so it only has to have a little bit of water. You don't have to soak it for 10-20 minutes like you do with the cheaper aluminum oxide stones. Put it flat against the stone. Blade straight up. You want 90 degrees. And you just go back and forth like a draw knife. And maybe for every 3 passes you do that, you bring the handle closer so you get that even wear. Now, you're going to have to clean off your knife every now and again. And you're going to have to clean off your stone every now and again. Because you're going to create a lot of slurry using your stone like that. And it will build up, and as long as you just keep rinsing it and brushing it off, it'll be fine. Now, as you can see, or maybe you can't, but you can see how I've got this satiny finish here before we get to the shiny portion on that kind of like a clep point. That's fine. We don't need this to be a spine, a sharp spine. We just need a nice flat along the back. And we don't want it to look like a hack job, which is why we're grinding with the stone this way. And we're making sure we just occasionally bring it back so it evenly goes up into the handle where the base of the blade meets the handle. so it'll look nice and even. And when we're done, this will easily spark a ferro rod. Okay, give me a second. Sorry to pause mid-video, that's not something I generally do, but I noticed I neglected to actually bring a ferro rod out here with me. Alright, so I think I'm pretty good here, but I actually have to test this. So I dry off my blade. Remember, the high carbon steels, even well, it'll rust if you leave it wet. So I do that, and I pull out a ferro rod to do my test. Now, as I said, it started out with a bevel, and that bevel still exists over here. So I'll just show you how good it is. I got a tiny little spark with that. That's garbage. Let's try with my now sharpened spine. Much better. So that's the difference. And you want that bigger spark because, well, you can see the little guy from the beveled part of the spine went out still in the air. There wasn't much burning material there. But when I started throwing sparks with my sharpened spine, they made it all the way to the ground before they went out. And so now I have something that I can use to reliably strike a ferro rod and help me make a campfire. Like, share, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments, and have a great day.